Chloe had always known what it felt like to be unwanted. As an orphan, she had grown up in different homes, never truly feeling like she belonged anywhere. But when Mr. Benson adopted her, she thought for once she had found a family. However, she quickly realized that she was nothing more than a charity case in his household. He had a daughter, Stacy, who was never home. Unlike Chloe, who was raised with discipline and morals, Stacy lived a reckless life, moving from one man to another, bringing in money for her father. Mr. Benson never complained, never questioned her whereabouts. As long as the money kept flowing in, he turned a blind eye to everything. Chloe, on the other hand, refused to live that way. She worked hard, stayed decent, and tried to earn everything through honesty. She wasn't blind to the way Mr. Benson treated her differently, but she refused to let it break her. She did the chores, cooked for him, and made sure the house was in order, even though he barely acknowledged her presence. One evening, as Chloe walked back from the market, carrying a small bag of groceries, she noticed a commotion ahead. A bus conductor was shouting at an elderly man, his voice laced with irritation. "I said, bring my money. If you knew you didn't have enough, why did you enter my bus?" The conductor yelled, pushing the old man roughly. Chloe's heart tightened at the sight. The elderly man was frail, his clothes worn out, his face lined with wrinkles that spoke of a hard life. Yet despite his struggles, the conductor showed him no mercy. Without hesitation, Chloe marched forward. "Hey, stop that," she snapped, stepping in between the conductor and the old man. "Is this how you treat your elders?" The conductor scoffed. "And who are you? If he doesn't have money, he should get out of my sight." Chloe glared at him, then reached into her bag, pulling out some money. "Here, take this and stop harassing him." The conductor snatched the money from her hand, grumbling as he walked away. The old man sighed in relief, his tired eyes filling with gratitude. "Thank you, my daughter. You didn't have to do that." "It's nothing, Papa," Chloe said gently. "No one deserves to be treated that way." The old man gave a weak smile. "My name is Patrick. I'm just a poor farmer. I live alone. No wife, no children. I had a son once, but he died years ago." Chloe's heart ached for him. She could see the sadness in his eyes, the loneliness he had probably carried for years. "Don't worry, Papa," she said, giving him a reassuring smile. "I'll find some time to come help you on your farm. I can also help you cook." Patrick's face lit up. It had been a long time since someone showed him kindness. "You would do that for an old man like me?" "Of course, I will come as soon as I can," Chloe promised. Patrick watched as she walked away, his heart warming at the kindness she had shown him. He had met many people in his long life, but none as selfless as this young girl. He stood there, watching her until she disappeared from sight, his mind already filled with thoughts of the day she would visit. As Chloe walked home, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, a sense of purpose. She had spent so many years trying to find a place where she belonged, but maybe, just maybe, she was meant to be someone else's family. Chloe walked into the house, wiping the sweat off her forehead. She had just returned from the market, yet she already sensed trouble before she even stepped inside. The moment she opened the door, she saw Mr. Benson standing in the middle of the living room, his arms crossed, his face twisted with anger. "Where have you been, you useless girl?" he barked. His deep voice echoed through the house, making Chloe freeze for a moment. "I have been sitting here hungry since morning, and you went to sleep in the market, right?" Chloe opened her mouth to explain, "Daddy, But Mr. Benson wasn't interested in listening. "Shut up," he roared. "I have told you not to call me your father. You are not my child, and you will never be my child. Now where is the change from the money I gave you?" Chloe swallowed hard. This was what she had feared. She took a deep breath and tried to speak calmly. "Daddy, that's what I was trying to tell you. I saw an old man being harassed by a bus conductor. He didn't have money for his fare, so I gave it to him." Before she could finish, Mr. Benson's hand flew across her face with a loud slap. Chloe staggered backward, holding her burning cheek, tears stinging her eyes. "You gave my money to a poor man?" he yelled. His eyes flared with rage. "So you have started seeing poor men now, eh? You now have a poor boyfriend you're feeding with my money." Chloe gasped. "No, Daddy, it wasn't like that. He was just an old man and—" Mr. Benson cut her off with a bitter laugh. "Foolish girl, look at you, just look at you. My daughter Stacy is out there making real money from wealthy men, and they shower her with money, money that puts food on this table, money that keeps this house running." Chloe's stomach twisted in disgust. She clenched her fists and said firmly, "With all due respect, Daddy, I can never be like Stacy. God forbid bad thing." A heavy silence filled the room. For a second, Chloe thought Mr. Benson might explode. His nostrils flared, his face darkened, and before she could react, his hand came down again. Another slap. "You must be foolish," he roared. You think you can compare yourself to Stacy. You are nothing compared to her. Do you think your decency will bring money into this house? You will suffer, you hear me?" Tears welled up in Chloe's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She refused to give him the satisfaction of seeing her cry. "For talking back at me, there is no food for you in this house," Mr. Benson declared. His voice was filled with cruelty. "You will not eat for 2 days. Let hunger teach you some sense." Chloe's stomach growled, but she held her ground. "Now go to the kitchen and cook before my angel, Stacy, comes back. Go, you senseless girl." Chloe turned and walked toward the kitchen, her head held high, but inside she was breaking. She felt weak, tired, and betrayed. She had done nothing wrong, yet she was being punished for being kind. As she stood by the stove, stirring the pot of soup, she made a silent promise to herself. One day she would leave this house. One day she would never have to endure this again. The next morning, Chloe woke up feeling weak. Her stomach ached from hunger, but she had no choice. She had to continue with her chores. She swept the living room, washed the dishes, and made breakfast for Mr. Benson. The smell of fried eggs and bread filled the house, making her stomach growl painfully, but she knew she couldn't eat. As she placed the food on the dining table, Stacy walked in. Dressed in a tight dress and high heels, she looked fresh, her face glowing with expensive makeup. Unlike Chloe, who had spent the night in hunger and tears, Stacy had probably been out enjoying herself. Chloe saw this as her chance. Maybe, just maybe, Stacy could help. She took a deep breath and walked up to her stepsister. "Stacy, please, I need to talk to you," Chloe said cautiously. Stacy rolled her eyes, already irritated. "What do you want, you dirty girl?" Chloe hesitated, but decided to speak. "Yesterday, our father, he punished me for no reason. I saw an old man being harassed by a bus conductor, and I used part of the money he gave me to help him. But when I came back, he got angry. He slapped me, insulted me, and said I wouldn't eat in this house for 2 days. Stacy picked up a mirror from the table and began fixing her lipstick, barely paying attention. "And why are you telling me?" she asked casually. Chloe swallowed her pride and continued, "Because I'm really hungry, Stacy. I didn't eat anything yesterday, and I still have to do all the work in the house. Please, can you talk to him? Maybe if you tell him, he will change his mind." For the first time, Stacy turned to look at her properly. She tilted her head and smiled. "So let me get this straight. You want me to beg Daddy for you?" Chloe nodded quickly. "Yes, please. Just tell him to let me eat." Stacy burst into laughter. "You must be really foolish. How is that my business? He is right. You are just a stubborn, dirty girl. If you had listened and behaved like me, you wouldn't be starving right now." Chloe's heart sank. "But Stacy, I can't be like you. I don't want to." "Then stay hungry," Stacy snapped, rolling her eyes. "Honestly, I don't care." Tears stung Chloe's eyes. She had hoped that maybe, just maybe, Stacy would show some kindness. But she was wrong. Stacy reached into her purse and pulled out some money. "Here, take this," she said, shoving a few notes into Chloe's hand. Chloe looked at the money, confused. "You're giving me money for food." Stacy scoffed. "Food? Who said anything about food? I want ice cream. Go to the supermarket and buy me some. And don't waste time." Chloe stared at her in disbelief. "Stacy, I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. Can't I at least buy something for myself?" Stacy rolled her eyes. "I don't care if you die of hunger, Chloe. Just get me my ice cream, you dirty, stubborn girl." Chloe clenched her jaw, trying to hold back the tears. She had no choice. If she refused, Stacy would complain to their father, and he would only make things worse. So without another word, she turned and left the house, her heart heavy with pain. As Chloe walked down the dusty road, her heart felt heavy. She was hungry, tired, and frustrated, but she kept moving. The sun was blazing in the sky, and the heat made her dizzy, but she forced herself to keep going. Just as she reached the market area, she spotted a familiar figure sitting under a tree. It was the old man, Papa Patrick. He looked lost in thought, his face filled with sadness. "Papa," Chloe called out, smiling despite her exhaustion. The old man looked up, and when he saw her, his face brightened. "Ah, my daughter, God bless you. How are you today?" Chloe walked up to him, wiping sweat off her forehead. "I'm fine, Papa, but I just realized I forgot to ask you where you live yesterday. You promised to let me help you on the farm, remember?" Papa Patrick chuckled softly. "Ah, yes, my daughter. I live in that small brown house near the river, just after the big mango tree. You will see a wooden fence and my little farm beside it." Chloe nodded. "Don't worry, Papa. I will visit you tomorrow." She then noticed the sadness still lingering in his eyes. His hands were clasped together, and he looked deep in thought. "Papa, why do you look so sad?" she asked gently. The old man sighed deeply. "My daughter, I am waiting for someone who owes me money. He promised to meet me here and pay me today. But I have been sitting here for hours, and he has not shown up. Worst of all, he has stopped picking my calls." Chloe frowned. "That's not fair, Papa. You worked for your money." Papa Patrick shook his head. "Some people have no conscience, my daughter. I need that money to buy food and some things for the farm, but it seems the man has decided to run away with it." Chloe's hands tightened into fists. She couldn't stand people who mistreated others, especially someone as kind as Papa Patrick. "Papa, give me his number," she said firmly. The old man hesitated. "But my daughter—" "Don't worry, just give it to me," Chloe insisted. Papa Patrick slowly brought out a small piece of paper with the man's number written on it. Chloe took her phone and dialed the number. After a few rings, the man picked up. "Hello, who is this?" His voice was rough and impatient. Chloe took a deep breath before speaking. "Good afternoon. My name is Chloe. I am calling regarding the money you owe Papa Patrick." There was silence on the other end before the man scoffed. "And what is your business with that?" "Tell the old man to wait for 2 weeks. I don't have money now." Chloe's blood boiled with anger. 2 weeks? Do you think he doesn't have needs? Do you think he can survive on air while you enjoy yourself with his money? You are a heartless man. The man was quiet for a moment, then he muttered, "I said I don't have money," before ending the call. Chloe clenched her teeth. Can you imagine? He just cut the call. Papa Patrick sighed. "I told you, my daughter, some people have no fear of God." Chloe looked at the old man, feeling even more frustrated. How could the world be so unfair? Here was a poor old man who had worked hard for his money, yet someone had the audacity to cheat him. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the money Stacy had given her for ice cream. She placed it in Papa Patrick's hands. The old man's eyes widened. "No, my daughter, you cannot give me this. I know you are also struggling, just like me." Chloe shook her head. "Papa, you need it more than I do. You are old, I am young. I am stronger than you, so I can cope. But you need food to stay healthy. Please take it." Tears welled up in Papa Patrick's eyes as he looked at her with gratitude. He held her hands and began to pray. "My daughter, may God bless you. May you never lack. And may you meet a good man who will marry you and treat you with kindness, just as you have treated me today." Chloe smiled, touched by his words. "Amen, Papa." Papa Patrick then smiled and said, "I want you to come to my house this weekend. I will be taking some farm produce to the market in 2 days, so by the time you visit, I will have enough money to host you." Chloe burst into laughter. "Papa, you are so funny. So you are planning to throw me a feast, eh?" Papa Patrick grinned. "Yes, my daughter, I may be poor, but I will make sure you eat well when you visit." Chloe wiped a tear from the corner of her eye and said jokingly, "Well, I hope you know that I eat a lot. I will finish all your food." Papa Patrick laughed heartily. "I don't mind, my daughter. As long as you come, I will be happy." Chloe smiled warmly. For the first time in a long time, she felt a sense of peace. Maybe she had lost her real parents, but in Papa Patrick, she had found something she never expected, a father's love. Chloe walked into the house, her steps slow and heavy. Her stomach ached from hunger and her body felt weak, but she forced herself to keep moving. The moment she stepped inside, she let out a loud, broken sob, her voice shaking as if she had been crying for hours. "Ah!" she wailed, holding her stomach. "Why me? What did I do to deserve this?" She collapsed onto the couch, her shoulders shaking with fake sobs. She covered her face with her hands, making sure to sniff loudly so it sounded as real as possible. Stacy's voice rang out, sharp and uninterested. "What's your problem this time?" Chloe sniffled, her voice trembling as she spoke. "Stacy, I was attacked," she cried, her hands gripping the edge of the couch as if she was about to collapse from pain. "Attacked?" There was a slight pause before Stacy spoke again. "By who?" Chloe gasped, pretending to struggle for breath. "A group of young men. They surrounded me on my way to the supermarket. They pushed me, slapped me, and took all the money." There was silence. Then Stacy spoke again, her tone filled with amusement. "Oh, please, spare me the tears. You should be grateful they didn't finish you off." Chloe's fake crying almost turned real. She lifted her head slightly, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Stacy," she gasped. "What?" Stacy's voice was light, almost laughing. "You are useless in this house anyway. If they had unalived you, at least this house would be free from your presence." Chloe's chest tightened. No matter how cruel Stacy had been in the past, she never expected her to say something so heartless. "Stacy, I swear I'm telling the truth," Chloe sobbed. "They stole everything. I couldn't even fight back." A mocking laugh rang out. "I hope you haven't given my money to your poor boyfriend and come here to lie." Chloe's eyes widened in shock. "I don't have a boyfriend. Stacy, I swear on my life, I've never even been touched by a man before." Laughter filled the room. It was loud, cruel, and filled with mockery. "Oh, please don't make me laugh. You? Never been touched? What kind of boring life is that?" There was a short pause before Stacy continued. "No wonder you're still so miserable. No man wants you, not even poor ones." Chloe's hands clenched into fists, her nails digging into her palms. She wanted to scream, but she knew it wouldn't change anything. "Anyway, I don't have time for your pathetic stories," Stacy said. "Whether you were robbed or not, it's not my business. The only thing I know is that my money is gone." Chloe held her breath, praying that she wouldn't demand the money back. "You're lucky I'm in a good mood today," Stacy continued. "Otherwise, I would have made you pay me back every single naira. But since I don't want to stress myself, I'll let it go." Chloe exhaled shakily, her body relaxing slightly. "But don't think I'm being nice," Stacy added, her voice sharp. "I just don't have time to deal with a fool like you. So get out of my sight before I change my mind." Chloe hesitated for a moment. She wanted to say something, to defend herself, to ask why Stacy hated her so much. But she knew it was pointless. Stacy would never care. Without another word, she turned and walked to her tiny room. Her stomach growled in protest, but she ignored it. She lay down on the thin mattress, staring at the ceiling. The hunger in her belly was nothing compared to the pain in her heart. She had tried everything to be accepted in this house, but it was never enough. Tears slid down her cheeks, but she quickly wiped them away. Weekend finally came, and Chloe woke up early, excitement bubbling in her chest. It had been a long, hard week of hunger, insults, and endless chores, but today, for the first time in a long while, she felt happy. She had something to look forward to. She waited for Stacy and Mr. Benson to leave the house before sneaking out. She knew if they caught her, there would be trouble, but she didn't care. She was tired of staying in a house where she was treated like nothing. The sun was high in the sky as she made her way to Mr. Patrick's house. The dirt road was quiet, lined with tall trees and the sound of birds chirping. She followed the directions he had given her, and soon she spotted the small brown house near the river. A wooden fence surrounded it, and beside it was a small but beautiful farm with rows of green vegetables swaying in the breeze. Chloe smiled to herself. This place feels so peaceful. As she reached the house, she was hit with the delicious aroma of food. Her stomach immediately growled. She rushed to the door and knocked gently. "Papa, it's me, Chloe." The door swung open, and Papa Patrick stood there beaming. "Ah, my daughter, you're finally here. Come in, come in." Chloe stepped inside and gasped. On the small wooden table, there were different meals. Steaming hot rice with thick, rich stew, fried plantains, a bowl of fresh fruit, and even a plate of roasted fish. It looked like a feast. "Papa," Chloe exclaimed in shock, "you already cooked all this?" Papa Patrick laughed. "Yes, my daughter, you are my special guest today. You must eat well." Chloe shook her head in disbelief. "Papa, you should have waited for me to come help you cook. How did you do all this alone?" Papa Patrick smiled, pouring her a cup of water. "Ah, my daughter, you ask too many questions. Just eat." "But Papa," Chloe frowned, "where did you even get the money to cook all these? This is too much." Papa Patrick chuckled. "I told you, my daughter, I sold my farm produce. That's where I got the money from. Now eat before the food gets cold." Chloe's heart swelled with gratitude. She had spent the past days starving, being treated like nothing, yet here was a man who barely knew her, treating her with kindness. She sat down and picked up a spoon, her hands shaking with excitement. The moment she took the first bite, her eyes widened. "Papa, this food is so delicious," she said, her mouth full. Papa Patrick laughed. "Eat well, my daughter, you need strength." Chloe didn't need to be told twice. She ate to her heart's content, enjoying every single bite. For the first time in a long time, she felt full, not just in her stomach, but in her heart. After they finished eating, Papa Patrick leaned back and sighed in satisfaction. "Now, my daughter, tell me about yourself." Chloe's smile faded a little. She placed her spoon down and stared at the table for a moment. "Papa, I don't even know where to start." "Start from anywhere," Papa Patrick said gently. "I want to know you." Chloe took a deep breath and began to speak. She told him everything: how she was an orphan, how she had been adopted by Mr. Benson, and how she had hoped to finally have a real family. But instead, she was treated like a burden, forced to do all the work in the house, insulted daily, and even denied food whenever her adoptive father was angry. Tears welled up in Papa Patrick's eyes as he listened. He shook his head in disbelief. "My daughter, no child deserves to be treated like that." Chloe sniffed, wiping the tears from her eyes. "It's okay, Papa. I'm used to it." Papa Patrick placed a hand on her shoulder. "Don't ever say that, my daughter. You deserve love and kindness. From now on, any time they refuse to give you food, come here. My door is always open for you." Chloe's eyes widened in surprise. "Papa, you really mean that?" "Of course," he said firmly. "You are my daughter now. I will not let you suffer." Chloe's heart swelled with emotion. She had never felt so cared for before. "Thank you so much, Papa. God bless you. You are truly God-sent." Papa Patrick smiled warmly. "My daughter, how I wish I had a son. He would have married you." Chloe laughed, shaking her head. "Papa, it's okay. You are my father now, and I am your daughter. That is enough for me." Papa Patrick nodded, his eyes shining with love. Chloe sighed and looked out the window. "How I wish I could stay here tonight, Papa. But if my father finds out I sneaked out, he will finish me." Papa Patrick frowned. "That man does not deserve you, my daughter. One day you will leave that house. One day you will be free." Chloe smiled, feeling hopeful for the first time in a long time. 2 days had passed since Chloe's visit to Papa Patrick's house. She had felt happier than she had in a long time. Knowing she had someone who genuinely cared for her made all the difference. However, reality always found a way to drag her back. She was still stuck in Mr. Benson's house, where every day felt like a battle for survival. She had just finished washing the dishes when her phone rang. She frowned, wiping her wet hands on her dress before picking it up. The number was unknown. "Hello?" she answered cautiously. A deep, unfamiliar voice responded. "Ah, finally, the angel speaks." Chloe raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me, who is this?" The man chuckled. "My dear, ever since I heard your voice that day, I have not been able to sleep. Your voice is like the voice of an angel sent from above." Chloe rolled her eyes. "Who are you, and what do you want?" "My name is Philip," the man said smoothly. "I am the man who owed your poor friend, Mr. Patrick, some money." Chloe's body stiffened. "Firstly, have you paid my father his money?" she asked. Philip chuckled again. "Oh, I never knew he was your father. If I had known, I would have paid him long ago." "Don't waste my time," Chloe snapped. "Just answer the question. Have you paid him or not?" Of course, my love, Philip said in a sickeningly sweet voice. I paid him a few hours ago. You can ask him to confirm. Chloe took a deep breath, controlling her growing irritation. Good. Now let today be the first and last time you ever call this number, you moron. Philip gasped dramatically. My love, why are you talking to me like this? Do you know who I am? I am a wealthy man. I can take you and your poor father out of poverty. Chloe let out a short, mocking laugh. Go and take your village people out of poverty first, you arrogant man. You can never buy me with your foolish money. Philip's voice dropped, his tone suddenly dark and serious. Chloe, you're making a mistake. I always get what I want. And I want you. Chloe's face hardened. You don't always get what you want, Philip. And this time, you won't. Stay away from me. Before he could say another word, she hung up and blocked his number. But on the other end of the call, Philip sat back in his chair, a sly smile on his face. Don't worry, my dear Chloe, he murmured to himself. I know exactly how to get you. The next morning, Chloe stepped out of the house, ready to go about her day. But the moment she opened the door, she froze. Standing in front of their gate was a tall man dressed in an expensive designer suit, his shoes shining under the morning sun. Next to him were several large bags filled with what looked like expensive gifts. Boxes of chocolates, perfumes, designer clothes, and other luxurious items. Chloe's eyebrows furrowed. Who is this? And why is he standing in front of our house? She took a cautious step forward, her arms folded. Who are you, sir? And what are you doing here? The man turned around slowly, a confident smile on his face. Ah, my love. You don't recognize me? Chloe's stomach turned. That voice, she knew it too well. It's me, Philip, baby, he said smoothly. I came to see my wife-to-be. Chloe's mouth fell open in shock. Excuse you. Philip chuckled. Oh, come on, baby. Don't act surprised. I told you I always get what I want, and I want you. He spread his arms wide as if expecting her to run into them. Look at all these gifts. Just a little taste of the life I can give you. Chloe clenched her fists. How did you even get my address? Philip smiled. Baby, we own this town. I know every house, every street. Finding you was easy. Chloe felt her skin crawl. Don't call me baby. I am not yours. And I never will be. Philip sighed dramatically, shaking his head. Chloe, you're making this difficult. Just give me a chance. I love you. Be mine. Let me spoil you with money. Let me take care of you and Patrick. Chloe's blood boiled. First of all, don't ever mention Papa Patrick's name again. Second, I don't want your money. And third, I will never ever be yours. Philip's smile faltered for a moment, but he quickly regained his confidence. Baby, why did you lie to me? Chloe frowned. Lie to you? About what? About Patrick being your father, Philip said. Chloe rolled her eyes. Of course he is my father. Philip smiled again. Then how come you both don't live in the same house? Chloe felt like slapping him. That's none of your business. Philip shook his head. Baby, don't lie to me again. I don't like it. Please, always tell me the truth. Chloe let out a frustrated groan. You are so foolish. Don't you ever call me baby, okay? And let me warn you, don't ever call me or come to this house again. Philip's smirk returned, but this time there was something darker about it. His eyes glinted with obsession. Never, Chloe. You must be mine. You are too beautiful, too intelligent, too decent to belong to another man. Be mine. Chloe's stomach twisted in disgust. Let me say this one final time. Next time I see you near this house, I will call the police for stalking me. Philip let out a slow laugh. Baby, we own the police. They will do nothing to me. Chloe glared at him before turning around and walking back into the house, slamming the door behind her. She was done with this nonsense. Just as she leaned against the door, taking deep breaths to calm herself, she heard a voice behind her. Interesting. Chloe spun around only to see Stacy standing in the hallway with a wicked grin on her face. You were really shouting at that fine rich man, Stacy said, crossing her arms. You're such a fool, Chloe. You should be begging him to take you. Chloe's jaw clenched. Stay out of this, Stacy. Stacy ignored her and walked outside, flipping her long hair over her shoulder. Good morning, sir, Stacy said sweetly, her tone completely different from how she spoke to Chloe. Philip turned, raising an eyebrow at her. And who might you be? Stacy smiled. I'm Stacy, Chloe's elder sister. Philip smiled. Oh, I see. Don't mind my sister, Stacy continued, her voice smooth like honey. She's just a little difficult. But don't worry, I'll talk to her. I'm sure she will listen to me. Philip looked her up and down, then nodded. I like that. You seem reasonable. Stacy giggled, stretching out her hand. Before I forget, let me help her collect the gifts. You know, just in case she changes her mind later. Philip chuckled and gestured to the bags. Be my guest. Stacy quickly grabbed the bags of goodies, her eyes shining with excitement. Philip reached into his pocket and pulled out a bundle of cash, placing it in Stacy's hand. This is for you. Just make sure you convince your sister. I don't want to wait too long. Stacy's grin widened as she took the money. Oh, don't worry, Philip. I'll make sure Chloe sees reason. Philip gave her his number. Keep me updated, sweetheart. Of course, Stacy said. Philip then climbed into his expensive car, revved the engine and sped off, leaving a cloud of dust behind him. Stacy turned back toward the house, a wicked smile on her face. Chloe, she muttered, shaking her head, you really don't know how to use your beauty. The next morning, Chloe couldn't wait to leave the house. After what happened with Philip yesterday, she needed to clear her head. There was only one place she wanted to be, Papa Patrick's house. She carefully snuck out, making sure Mr. Benson and Stacy weren't around to stop her. The moment she stepped onto the dusty road leading to Patrick's house, she felt a wave of relief. This place had become her escape, the only place where she felt safe and loved. When she arrived, Papa Patrick was sitting outside on a wooden bench. His wrinkled face lit up with a smile when he saw her. Ah, my daughter, you're here. Chloe ran up to him and sat beside him. Yes, Papa, I needed to talk to you. Patrick looked at her closely. What is it, my daughter? You look worried. Chloe let out a frustrated sigh. Papa, that man, Philip, is so stupid. I don't like him, and I will never like him. Papa Patrick chuckled. Ah, what did he do this time? Chloe rolled her eyes. Yesterday, I stepped out of the house and I saw him standing outside with bags full of expensive gifts, saying he came to see his wife-to-be. Can you imagine? Papa Patrick's eyes widened. What? Papa, I was so angry. I told him to leave me alone, but he kept saying he wants to take care of me, that he loves me, that he will spoil me with money. Can you believe that? Patrick suddenly sat up, his eyes narrowing. No wonder, Chloe frowned. No wonder what? No wonder he came here the other day and paid me more than he owed me, Patrick said, rubbing his chin. I was surprised because the amount he gave me was too much. I never knew it was because of you, my daughter. Chloe's stomach turned. So he was just trying to impress me? Ugh, that man is so annoying. Patrick sighed. My daughter, he is wealthy. Why don't you give him a chance? He can take care of you. Chloe gasped. Papa, you too. Patrick chuckled. I'm just saying, my daughter, life is hard. If a man with money loves you, maybe you should consider it. Chloe shook her head firmly. No, Papa, I will never give him a chance. I don't care if my man is broke. All I need is a good man. A responsible man, not an arrogant and proud fool like Philip. Patrick nodded slowly. I see. And besides, Chloe continued, I am not even ready for any relationship right now. All I want is money to get into the university and get my degrees. I want a good job. I want to take you out of this place, Papa. I hate to see you in this environment. It's not good for your age. And I also want to make sure you stop farming. That's my wish someday. Papa Patrick's eyes widened in shock. He stared at her for a long time, speechless. Finally, he reached out and held her hands, his voice trembling. Oh, my daughter, I wish you were truly my child. You are so kind. May God bless you. Chloe smiled, blinking back tears. Amen, Papa. Patrick sighed deeply. Don't worry, my child. The God I serve will bring somebody that will help you soon. Soon, my daughter. Soon. Chloe let out a small laugh. Amen, Papa. After a moment of silence, Patrick's expression changed. He suddenly clenched his fists. And listen, anytime that fool Philip comes near you again, call me. I will come over and beat the hell out of him. Chloe stared at him in shock, then burst into laughter. She laughed so hard she had to hold her stomach. Papa, you are so funny, she said between giggles. Where is the strength? How can you beat a man as fit as Philip? Patrick puffed out his chest. Ah, don't underestimate me, my daughter. I may be old, but I still have some fight left in me. Chloe wiped a tear from the corner of her eye, still laughing. Papa, please don't try it. One slap from Philip and you'll be sleeping for a week. Patrick laughed heartily, shaking his head. Don't worry, my daughter. I will carry my farming cutlass. If he misbehaves, I will chase him down the street. Chloe laughed even harder, picturing the scene in her head. Papa, you will cause trouble in this town. They both laughed until their stomachs hurt. For a moment, Chloe forgot all her problems. She forgot about Philip, Mr. Benson, and Stacy. All she felt was happiness. And in that moment, she knew, no matter what happened, she would fight for her future. And no amount of money or arrogant men would change that. Meanwhile, back at home, Stacy sat comfortably on the couch, her legs crossed as she looked at her father with excitement. Mr. Benson sat opposite her, listening with mild curiosity. Father, you were not around yesterday, so you missed a lot. Stacy started, leaning forward. Mr. Benson frowned. What happened? Stacy smiled. It's about Chloe. A wealthy man named Philip came to see her, and you won't believe what she did. Mr. Benson raised an eyebrow. A wealthy man? Who is he? I don't know much about him, but from the way he dressed and the car he drove, he is clearly rich, Stacy explained. He came with bags full of expensive gifts. I mean, real luxury items. He stood outside waiting for Chloe, calling her his wife-to-be and saying he wanted to take care of her. Mr. Benson's eyes widened slightly. And what did Chloe do? Stacy rolled her eyes. She insulted him. Can you imagine? A man with money came to spoil her, and instead of grabbing the opportunity, she started acting all righteous. She told him to leave, that she wasn't interested, and even threatened to call the police on him. Mr. Benson shook his head, clearly displeased. That girl is truly foolish. A rich man came for her, and she threw it away. Does she think men like that come every day? Exactly, Stacy said excitedly. Father, do you know how many women are praying for a man like Philip? But look at Chloe, rejecting him like she has options. Mr. Benson scoffed. She has no sense. She behaves as if decency and hard work alone can put food on the table. Even you, her elder sister, are still waiting for a rich man to marry. Yet here she is, pushing one away. Stacy nodded quickly. That's what I was thinking too. A man like Philip is a rare catch. And between me and you, Father, I fit him more than Chloe does. I mean, I am more mature, more beautiful, and more exposed than that little orphan. Mr. Benson smirked. Now you're talking, Stacy. You think wisely. Stacy flipped her hair back. I was going to talk to Chloe and convince her to accept him. But now that I think of it, why waste my time? If she doesn't want him, then I will take him for myself. Mr. Benson smiled approvingly. That is a better plan. Don't force her. If she has rejected him, then leave her to suffer. Instead, since you have his number, call him. Tell him bad things about Chloe. Make sure he sees her as a worthless girl, someone he shouldn't even think about. Stacy gasped, her eyes lighting up. Oh, Father, I never even thought of that. You are truly brilliant. Mr. Benson nodded. You must act fast. If you succeed, Philip will no longer want anything to do with Chloe, and all his attention will turn to you. Stacy grinned. Yes. And those expensive gifts he brought yesterday? I will keep them. Chloe doesn't deserve them. If she wants to act foolish, let her suffer. Good, Mr. Benson said, looking pleased. And make sure you also talk to Chloe. Feed her lies about Philip. Tell her horrible things about him so that she will hate him even more. That way, even if he still tries to chase her, she will never accept. Stacy clapped her hands excitedly. Oh, Father, this plan is perfect. Chloe has no idea what's coming. Philip will be mine, and she will regret ever rejecting him. Mr. Benson smirked. And let that fool continue to struggle in this house. She will learn the hard way that life is not about dignity, but survival. Stacy smiled wickedly. Don't worry, Father. I will make sure Philip forgets that Chloe even exists. As they continued their discussion, Stacy was already forming her next move. Philip will be mine. Later that evening, Stacy sat in the living room, waiting for Chloe to return from wherever she had sneaked off to. She was eager to put her father's plan into action. The moment she heard the door creak open, she quickly put on a serious expression and leaned forward, acting as if she was deep in thought. Chloe walked in, tired from her visit to Papa Patrick's house. She barely glanced at Stacy as she made her way to her room. "Chloe, wait," Stacy called, her voice unusually soft. Chloe sighed, already suspecting trouble. She turned around, folding her arms. "What is it, Stacy?" Stacy let out a deep sigh, shaking her head. "Chloe, I just want to talk to you. It's about Philip." Chloe frowned. "Philip? What about him?" Stacy leaned back on the couch, crossing her legs. "I know you don't like him, and that's fine. But I felt it was important to tell you the truth about him." Chloe rolled her eyes. "I don't care about Philip, Stacy. I already told him to leave me alone." I know," Stacy said quickly, "but you rejected him without knowing who he really is. And as your sister, I feel like it's my duty to warn you." Chloe raised an eyebrow. "Warn me?" Stacy nodded, lowering her voice as if she was sharing a big secret. "Chloe, Philip is a married man." Chloe blinked, unimpressed. "Okay, and?" Stacy looked slightly thrown off by her calmness, but quickly continued. "He has 2 wives already, not 1, but 2. And do you know what else?" Chloe sighed. "No, I don't." Stacy leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "He is a ritualist, Chloe. People say he uses women for rituals. That's how he got his wealth." Chloe's expression remained blank. "Wow." Stacy stared at her, waiting for a reaction, but Chloe simply stood there, unbothered. "So you're not shocked?" Stacy asked, frowning. Chloe shrugged. "Why should I be? I was never interested in him." Stacy's eyes twitched slightly, but she forced a smile. "Well, I just thought you should know. You know, so you don't regret rejecting him later." Chloe scoffed. "Regret? Stacy, I don't even think about Philip. I don't care if he has 2 wives or 10 wives. He could be a ritualist, a thief, or even the king of a secret cult. It doesn't concern me because I was never going to accept him in the first place." Stacy blinked, momentarily speechless. She hadn't expected Chloe to be so unaffected. Chloe tilted her head. "But if you're so worried about him, why don't you take him? Since you're suddenly so interested in his personal life, why not become his 3rd wife?" Stacy's lips parted in shock. "What?" Chloe smiled. "You clearly care about him more than I do. You can have him, it's not my problem." Stacy's hands curled into fists. "Chloe, you're not taking this seriously." "Because it's not my concern," Chloe said, turning toward her room. "Unlike you, I have better things to do with my life." Stacy watched in frustration as Chloe walked away without a second thought. Her plan had failed. Chloe was completely unmoved, and that made Stacy even more determined to make sure Philip became hers. Later that evening, Stacy sat in her room fuming. Her plan to turn Chloe against Philip had failed, but she wasn't done yet. There was still another way. Philip wanted Chloe, and if Stacy played her cards right, she could use that to her advantage. She picked up her phone and dialed his number, smiling confidently as she waited for him to answer. After a few rings, Philip picked up. "Ah, Stacy," Philip said smoothly. "I was expecting your call." Stacy smiled. "Of course, Philip, I had to call. After what happened yesterday, I knew we needed to talk." Philip chuckled. "So tell me, have you spoken to Chloe? Have you convinced her?" Stacy sighed dramatically. "Philip, that's exactly why I'm calling. I care about you, and I don't want you wasting your time on someone who doesn't deserve you." Philip raised an eyebrow. "Oh, what do you mean?" Stacy lowered her voice, making it sound as if she was revealing a deep secret. "Philip, Chloe is not who you think she is. You see her as this innocent girl, but I know her better than anyone. She's corrupt. She pretends to be decent, but she's been sleeping around with different men for a long time." Philip's expression didn't change. "Is that so?" "Yes," Stacy continued, leaning into her lie. "And not just young men, Philip. Old men. Rich, married men. Do you know how many times she sneaks out at night? That's why she rejected you, because you're not old enough for her. She's busy entertaining her sugar daddies while you're here thinking she's special." Philip let out a low chuckle. "Interesting. Go on." Stacy smiled, thinking her plan was working. "Philip, I care about you. That's why I'm telling you the truth. Chloe is playing games with you. You deserve better. You deserve someone like me, a classy, educated, beautiful woman who knows how to treat a man of your status. I am not like Chloe. I can be the woman beside you, the one who makes you proud, the one who— A sudden burst of laughter from Philip cut her off. Stacy frowned, confused. Philip, why are you laughing? Philip continued laughing for a few seconds before speaking. Oh, Stacy, who in this town doesn't know you? Stacy's smile faded instantly. What? What do you mean? Philip's voice turned cold. Everything you just said about Chloe is actually you. You just gave me your own life history. Everyone knows you are the one sleeping around with men for money, not Chloe. Stacy's eyes widened in shock. Philip, that's not true. Philip scoffed. Oh, please, do you think I didn't do my research? Stacy, your name is all over this town. You've been with so many men that even married men are afraid of you now. And you have the audacity to lie to me about Chloe. Stacy's heart pounded. Philip, listen to me. Philip cut her off. No, you listen to me. I will never date nor marry someone as corrupt and mannerless as you. You are desperate and shameless, Stacy, and I don't deal with women like you. Stacy felt rage boiling inside her. Philip, you can't talk to me like that. Philip let out a short laugh. I can talk to you however I like. And let me warn you, don't you ever call this number again. You are the daughter of a lazy man who survives off his own daughter's dirty dealings. I don't associate with people like you. Before Stacy could respond, click. The call ended. Her hands trembled as she stared at her phone, her mouth opening and closing in shock. Philip had not only rejected her, but he had also insulted her brutally. She never expected this. Her plan had backfired completely, and now she was angrier than ever. Mr. Benson arrived home late in the evening, his face set in a tired, unreadable expression. He had barely taken off his shoes when Stacy stormed toward him, her arms folded, her face twisted with anger. Father, you won't believe what happened, she shouted. Mr. Benson sighed, rubbing his forehead. What is it now, Stacy? Can't I rest for 1 minute? No, Father, this is serious, Stacy snapped. That foolish girl, Chloe, has embarrassed me. She has disgraced our family. Mr. Benson's eyes darkened. What are you talking about? Stacy clenched her fists. I called Philip, just like we planned. I tried to talk sense into him, to make him forget about Chloe and see that I am the better woman for him. But do you know what happened? Mr. Benson stared at her, waiting. Philip insulted me, Father. He called me desperate and shameless. He said I'm mannerless and that everyone in this town knows me for the wrong reasons. Mr. Benson's jaw tightened. What? Stacy nodded furiously. Yes. And do you know why? Because Chloe must have told him bad things about me. That's the only explanation. Mr. Benson's face twisted in anger. That ungrateful girl, he growled. After everything I have done for her, this is how she repays me. Stacy smiled, watching as her father's anger built up. She is a bad head, Father. She has always been. She is trying to ruin this family. That's why she refused Philip. She wants to disgrace us and remain a poor girl forever. Mr. Benson didn't need to hear anything else. His mind was already made up. His patience had run out. Without another word, he stormed inside, his heavy footsteps shaking the floor. Chloe was in her tiny room, sitting on the small mattress, lost in thought. She was exhausted from the day's events and just wanted to rest. But the moment she heard the door burst open, her heart jumped. She looked up to see Mr. Benson standing in the doorway, his face red with fury. "Pack your things and get out of my house," he roared. Chloe blinked in shock, her stomach tightening in fear. "Daddy, don't you dare call me that," he shouted, his voice shaking the walls. "I have had enough of you. Leave my house this very minute and never return." Tears welled up in Chloe's eyes. "But what did I do?" she whispered. Mr. Benson scoffed. "Oh, you're still pretending? You think I don't know. You went behind my back and told Philip bad things about my daughter. You destroyed Stacy's chances with him." Chloe's mouth fell open. "I didn't say anything to Philip." "Shut up," Mr. Benson snapped. "I don't want to hear your lies. I have tried for you, Chloe. I gave you shelter. I fed you. I allowed you to stay in my house for years, and this is how you repay me. By bringing shame to my family." Tears spilled down Chloe's cheeks. "Daddy, please." "I said get out," Mr. Benson roared, his eyes burning with rage. "Go and meet your poor boyfriend. Stay away from my family. You are nothing but bad luck, Chloe. A bad head. From the day I took you in, nothing good has come out of it." Chloe shook her head, crying uncontrollably. "Please, don't do this to me. I have nowhere to go. I promise I didn't do anything wrong." Mr. Benson pointed at the door. "I don't care. You are not my problem anymore. Get out of my house and never return." Chloe sobbed, her whole body shaking. She couldn't believe this was happening. She had always known she wasn't truly loved in this house, but she never thought Mr. Benson would throw her out like this. She looked up at him one last time, hoping for even a tiny bit of mercy in his eyes. But there was none. Only coldness. Knowing she had no choice, she slowly got up and wiped her tears. She grabbed a small bag and stuffed in the little clothes she had. Her hands trembled as she zipped it up. As she walked past Mr. Benson, he didn't even look at her. Stacy stood at the door, smirking with satisfaction. "Goodbye, Chloe," Stacy said mockingly. "Enjoy your new life on the streets." Chloe didn't respond. She stepped out into the night, her heart breaking into a million pieces. With nowhere else to go, Chloe walked through the dark, lonely streets, her small bag clutched tightly in her hands. Her heart felt heavy, her eyes swollen from crying. She had spent years in Mr. Benson's house, enduring pain and humiliation, yet she was thrown out like garbage. But there was one place, one person, who had always made her feel loved. Papa Patrick. As she approached the small brown house near the river, she took a deep breath, her body trembling from exhaustion. She knocked weakly on the door, praying he was home. Within seconds, the door swung open, and there stood Papa Patrick, his face lighting up the moment he saw her. "My daughter," he exclaimed, stepping forward. "What are you doing here so late? Are you okay?" Chloe couldn't hold back the tears anymore. "Papa," her voice broke, and before she could say another word, she collapsed into his arms, sobbing. Papa Patrick held her gently, patting her back. "My daughter, you are safe now." He pulled her inside, shutting the door behind them. As she sat on the small wooden chair, Chloe told him everything. How Mr. Benson had accused her of things she didn't do, how he threw her out without mercy, how she had nowhere to go. Papa Patrick's face darkened with anger. "That wicked man, after all these years, this is how he treats you?" He shook his head. "Don't worry, my daughter. You will never suffer again. You are always welcome here." Chloe sniffled, wiping her tears. "Thank you, Papa." Papa Patrick smiled warmly. "Go and rest, my child. Tomorrow is a new day." For the first time in a long time, Chloe felt safe. The next morning, the sun was shining brightly as Papa Patrick sat outside his house on his small wooden stool. The gentle breeze rustled the trees, and birds chirped in the distance. He enjoyed mornings like this, peaceful and quiet. Just as he was about to stand up and stretch his legs, he heard the distant sound of a car engine. His brow furrowed. He wasn't expecting anyone. The sound grew louder until finally a sleek black car rolled into his compound. The vehicle was nothing like the ones he usually saw. This one was polished, expensive, and carried an air of importance. Papa Patrick stood up slowly, his heart pounding. Who could this be? The car door swung open and a tall, well-dressed man stepped out. He wore a tailored suit, his shoes shining under the morning sun. His face was strong and familiar, yet older, more mature. Papa Patrick's breath caught in his throat. His hands began to tremble. His lips moved, but no words came out. The man took a few steps forward, his eyes locking onto Papa Patrick's. Then he smiled. "Father, it's me." Papa Patrick's knees almost gave way. He staggered slightly, gripping his chest. His eyes widened in disbelief. "Larry." His voice came out in a whisper, as if he didn't trust his own ears. "Yes, Father. It's me," Larry said, his voice filled with emotion. Tears welled up in Papa Patrick's eyes. My son, you are alive." Larry nodded. "Yes, Father, I am alive." Before Larry could say another word, Papa Patrick rushed forward and pulled him into a tight embrace, holding him as if he would disappear again. "My son, I thought I had lost you forever," Papa Patrick cried, his voice breaking. "They told me you were dead. I mourned for you. I wept every night." Larry held on to his father, his own eyes wet with unshed tears. "I thought I was lost too, Father. But God kept me. He brought me back to you." Papa Patrick pulled away slightly, looking at his son with teary eyes. "Where have you been, my child? What happened to you?" Larry took a deep breath and let out a sigh, his expression darkening with memories. "Father, I had an accident," he said quietly. "That's why I never came back. People thought I was dead because nobody rescued me in time. I lay there unconscious until a good Samaritan, a kind man, found me. He took me in, cared for me, and gave me a place to stay." Papa Patrick gasped, his hands covering his mouth. "An accident." Larry nodded. "Yes, Father. But that was not even the worst part. I lost my memory. For years I couldn't remember anything. I didn't know who I was or where I came from. The only thing I remembered was the name Larry, but nothing else. My entire past was blank." Tears ran down Papa Patrick's face as he listened, his heart breaking for his son. "For so many years I lived with strangers. I worked small jobs, trying to survive, but inside I always felt lost. Like something was missing," Larry continued. "Then one day, out of nowhere, my memory came back. I remembered everything, you, our home, my childhood, and I knew I had to find you again." Papa Patrick covered his face, sobbing. "Oh, my son, you have suffered. But God is merciful. He brought you back to me." Larry smiled through his own tears. "Yes, Father, and now I want to make sure you never suffer again. I have worked hard. I started my own businesses, invested wisely, and now I have everything I once dreamed of." He gestured towards the sleek car behind him. "I have money, a mansion, a successful life, but all of that means nothing if I don't have my father." Papa Patrick wiped his tears and smiled proudly. "God is good. My son, you left as a boy, but you have returned as a man, a rich and successful man." Larry smiled. "Yes, Father. And I have come back to take care of you. You will never struggle again." Papa Patrick beamed with joy. "Ah, my son, you don't know how happy I am." Then his smile turned mischievous as he tilted his head. "Tell me, my son, are you married?" Larry laughed heartily. "No, Father, I am waiting for the right one." Papa Patrick's eyes twinkled with excitement. "Ah, don't worry, my son, I have the right one for you." Larry raised an eyebrow, curious. "Really? Who is she?" Papa Patrick chuckled, folding his arms. "She went to the market to buy something, but when she returns, you will see her for yourself." Larry blushed slightly. "Father, you are making me nervous." Papa Patrick grinned. "Just trust me, my son. She is special, and I know. When you see her, you will like her." Larry sighed playfully. "Now I'm really curious." Papa Patrick patted his son's shoulder. "Relax, my son. When the time is right, you will understand why I say she is the one for you." Larry chuckled, shaking his head. "All right, Father. I trust you." Papa Patrick laughed warmly. "Good. Now come inside. You must be hungry. Tell me more about your journey, my son." As they walked toward the house, Papa Patrick felt nothing but joy. His son was alive, successful, and back home. And very soon, when Chloe returned from the market, fate would reveal its next beautiful chapter. Later that afternoon, Chloe returned from the market, carrying a basket filled with fresh vegetables. She was tired from the long walk, but her heart felt lighter. Living with Papa Patrick had been the best thing that had ever happened to her. As she approached the house, she noticed a sleek black car parked outside. She paused, frowning slightly. Who could be visiting Papa? She stepped inside and was about to greet Mr. Patrick when she noticed a tall, well-dressed man sitting beside him. The moment Larry saw her, he froze. It was as if time stopped. His breath caught in his throat, and his heart pounded so loudly he could hear it in his ears. He had seen many beautiful women before, but there was something different about Chloe. Something pure, something rare. His father's words suddenly made sense. Chloe, feeling slightly uncomfortable under his intense gaze, shifted the basket in her hands. "Good afternoon, Papa," she greeted, then turned to Larry. "Good afternoon, sir." Larry finally found his voice. "Good afternoon. What's your name?" "Chloe," she answered, giving him a small, polite smile. Mr. Patrick, sensing something between them, grinned widely. Ah, my son, this is the one I was telling you about. Chloe, this is my son, Larry, Papa Patrick said, his voice filled with pride. The son I thought died years ago. Chloe's eyes widened in shock. Your son? Larry smiled and stood up, extending his hand. Yes, Chloe, it's a pleasure to meet you. Chloe slowly took his hand, shaking it gently. Wow. Papa always told me he had lost his son. This is a miracle. Larry nodded. It truly is. I lost my memory for years after an accident, and when I finally remembered home, I knew I had to come back. Papa Patrick beamed with happiness. Isn't God wonderful? Now my family is whole again. Larry, however, wasn't just interested in meeting Chloe. He was captivated by her. From the moment she walked in, he felt something deep within him shift. She was beautiful, but it was more than that. There was a gentleness about her, a kindness in her eyes that made his heart race. After Chloe settled down, Larry spoke up. Chloe, I don't want to waste time. I have searched for love for years, but today I have found it. I love you, and I want to marry you. Chloe gasped, nearly dropping the basket in her lap. What? Larry took a deep breath, his eyes locked on hers. I know this is sudden, but sometimes the heart knows what it wants. From the moment I saw you, I knew you were the one for me. I don't believe in delaying happiness. I want to spend my life with you. Chloe's heart pounded. She had never had a man speak to her like this before. She glanced at Papa Patrick, who was watching them with a knowing smile. Larry, Chloe said carefully, this is a big decision. I do like you, but I have dreams. I want to finish university, get my degree, and build a career first. Then I can think about marriage. Larry smiled warmly. And that's exactly why I love you. You have ambition, you have a plan, and I respect that. I will wait for you, Chloe, no matter how long it takes. Papa Patrick clapped his hands happily. Ah, my son, you have chosen wisely. Chloe is a good girl. You will be happy with her. And so their love story began. Years later, Chloe worked hard and finally achieved her dream of graduating from university. Larry was there for her through every step, supporting her, encouraging her, and celebrating her victories. On the day she received her degree, Larry made his next move. In front of her classmates, friends, and even reporters, he got down on one knee and pulled out a ring. Chloe, I have waited for this moment for years. You have accomplished your dream, and now I want to ask, will you be my wife? Tears filled Chloe's eyes as she nodded. Yes, Larry. The crowd erupted in cheers as he slipped the ring onto her finger. Their engagement quickly spread all over the internet. It was on social media, in the newspapers, and even on television. The story of the billionaire businessman and the brilliant young graduate became the talk of the town. But not everyone was happy. In another part of town, Stacy and Mr. Benson sat in their living room, watching the news in rage. On the screen, Chloe and Larry's engagement was being broadcasted. The headline read, Billionaire businessman, Larry engaged to university graduate Chloe. Mr. Benson's hands clenched into fists. I will not be alive to see this happen, he roared. Stacy threw a glass at the wall, her eyes burning with hatred. Chloe? That useless girl, getting married to a billionaire. No, I will not allow it. We must stop this, Mr. Benson shouted. We are going to the native doctor right now. Without thinking, they grabbed the car keys and stormed out of the house. As Mr. Benson drove at high speed, Stacy sat beside him, seething with rage. We must make sure Chloe never enjoys this marriage. That fool must suffer. The car sped dangerously along the winding road, their minds consumed with evil thoughts. But fate had other plans. As they approached a sharp bend, a truck suddenly appeared in front of them. Mr. Benson, blinded by his anger, didn't react in time. Boom! The impact was deadly. The car flipped over multiple times before crashing into a tree. By the time people rushed to the scene, it was too late. Stacy and Mr. Benson died on the spot. Months later, Chloe and Larry got married in the most beautiful wedding ceremony the town had ever seen. It was a day filled with joy, love, and endless celebration. Not long after, Chloe gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. Their home was filled with laughter and happiness, a complete contrast to the pain she had once endured. Papa Patrick, now living in Larry's mansion, held his grandchildren in his arms, his heart full of gratitude. "You see, my daughter," he said to Chloe one evening, "God always has a plan. He took you from pain and gave you a beautiful life." Chloe smiled, resting her head on Larry's shoulder. "Yes, Papa, and I will forever be grateful." Larry kissed her forehead. "You deserve all the happiness in the world, my love." And so Chloe and Larry lived happily ever after, proving that no matter how dark the past may be, love, kindness, and patience always lead to a brighter future. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, give us a thumbs up, share it with friends, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates.